Hi friends, in our previous video we have seen how can we create a Docker image manually. We have seen the manual process in the last video. In this video we will see how can we create Docker image from the Docker file. Already I have discussed what is Docker file in my previous video. This Docker file is the automation process. Means we can automate how my Docker images will be created. I will write all the steps, all the commands inside a script, and I will save that script, and whenever I will run this Docker file script, so what it will do, it will run all the commands whatever it is mentioned inside that file. Okay, so first of all I want to say you there are few keywords which we uses in our Docker file. Like keywords are from keyword, run keyword, many keywords are there, but must remember that any Docker file starts with the from keyword. From why we use the from keyword? Because already I discussed that any of the Docker images contains the base image as the any of the operating system. So to pull any of the operating system, we will use from keyword. First we will use from keyword to pull any of the base image, and always the base image will be any operating system. So Docker file always starts with the from keyword, and we will use from keyword to pull the any operating system on any OS image. So that is the first command and first keyword in the Docker file. The second keyword can be anything. There are many options available with us, like run command. Run keyword is used to run anything, like you want to run any command. So whatever command we want to run, we will use the run keyword. Add command is used to copy or add any files or add any directories. For that we use add. Copy environment is used to set the environment. Expose is used to say the Docker that my application will be using this particular port number. So to assign the port number to the images, we uses the expose keyword. And already we have seen what is port mapping and what is the need of the port mapping in our previous video. So Docker container always does the port mapping. They can't use the default port of any application, because that port is reserved for the host operating system on top of which Docker engine is installed. So we will use the expose keyword to assign the port number or do the port mapping. Likewise, label is there, volume is there, many commands are there. Volume is a different concept in Docker. We will discuss the volume in a separate video. So volume is about to come in the upcoming video. We will discuss volume. So now the thing CMD. See what the CMD is. At the end we uses the CMD command. What actually the CMD does. See, as you remember in our last video when we created the Nginx image, then there was some default command that should be run whenever the images will be run as a container. Means whenever the image will run as a container, there should be some default command. Like for the Tomcat, we have catalina.sh as a default command. Likewise, for the Nginx, we have some command is there. So to say the image that you should run this command as by default, whenever the container will come up, you should use CMD command. CMD is the most useful command to run any application. And the second most important thing is that we can use only one CMD in a Docker file. If we will use more than one CMD in a Docker file, we won't get any error. But Docker file will read only the last present CMD in that Docker file. So always remember, only we have to use one CMD in a Docker file. Now come to the syntax of the Docker file. How can we build a Docker file? So see, this is the syntax to a Docker file. The first command Docker will always be there. The second is the build along with the -t and -f. What this -t and -f is? This -t is the tag name. See, whenever we pull or push any image, when we are pulling any image, so that image should be tagged with any name. So means this is the image name. -t you can simply understand it as this is the image name. Whatever name we will give over here, that name will be assigned to the Docker image. So that is the -t image name. Now hyphen f. F is the file path, means where my Docker file has been kept. I have to give the complete path of this Docker file. And this dot. What this dot here is? Dot here means inside the Docker file, whatever the requirement, or suppose inside the Docker file I have written that copy this file from Docker, my server to the Docker file, move this file from here to there. So whatever suppose application I have tried to copy or move, so that application it will fetch from there. So when I am given dot means I am saying my Docker file that all the applications or all the directories or whatever you need in your Docker file, everything is present in the current working directories. That's why I have given dot. Suppose if your file is located in any other location, then you can mention that file path as well, wherever your file is located. Everything you will understand when we will do this practical, and we will do this practical in this video only. So right now I am just giving you the overview that what this Docker file is, what is the syntax and all. So after this comes the layer concept. What is the layer concept and all? All this I will say you in practical, because in practical you will be able to understand it in a better way. So as of now, just remember one layer keyword, layer concept is there, and that layer is the big concept. Many people who works in the Docker is even unaware of this layer concept. So I will say you please go through this layer concept very carefully. This is the best concept in the Docker. Once you will get clear of this layer concept, you will get confidence about what the Docker is and how it works. So I will say the layer concept in the practical. So okay, let us start with our practical session. See, I had already made so so see, here you can see I had already made a Devops folder. Inside this I kept my Docker files. So I am going inside this. Already I had written the Docker file, because if I would have written now, then it would have taken more times. So if you want to download all this script or Docker file, you can go to my GitHub account. Already I mentioned my GitHub account in this here as well. This is my GitHub account. You can go here and you can download it from there. So all the scripts and whatever the documents related script will be there. I will upload everything in my GitHub account. So you can upload it from there. So what I am doing over here, see, I am starting from the first concept. See, please follow everything. See what is here. There are multiple Docker files there. One is Dockerfile, Tomcat 1, Tomcat 2, Tomcat 3, multiple files are there. But one files I have created with the name of Dockerfile itself, because I want to show you one concept. See, what is the command to run this Docker file? If you have gone earlier, we have given complete file path as well as tag name as well. But here, see file tag name as well as file path. But what I will do here, I will neither give tag name nor any file path. I will just give Docker build. What the build means? Build means you are instructing to the Docker that whatever the Docker file is there, if Docker file is present in your host machine, then please run it. So I have to give the path of the Docker file. So already it is present in my current working directory, so I have given dot. So see, I run only three things. Docker build dot. What it means? Docker is the command every time you have to run. Build means you are giving the instruction to the Docker that whatever the Docker file is there, please run it. Okay, before this, let me do one modification. mv dockerfile 1. See what I did. I changed this Docker file to Dockerfile 1. So see, as of now, no Docker file is present with the Docker file name. So if I will run this command, Docker build dot. So see what error I am getting. Unable to evaluate symlink in Dockerfile. No such directory is there. Means they are saying that you want to run the Dockerfile, but no file is present with the name of Dockerfile. So I have two options. Either I can use -f along with the file path name, complete file path I have to give, or I can just modify this Dockerfile one to the Dockerfile. So what I am doing here, I am just modifying this. See, I modified. So what happened? Now one file is present with the name of the Dockerfile. So if I will run the same command again, now it will run. What it will do? So what it will do, first let me show you what I have written inside this. See what, this is your first Dockerfile practical. So see what I am doing over here. Already I said from will be first keyword. With the from only we starts our Dockerfile. So what I am doing, first I am pulling my Ubuntu image. Always remember the base layer of any images will be of any operating system. So I am pulling the Ubuntu operating system in this Dockerfile. After that I am using the run command. Run is always to run any of this shell command. We do have this shell or base command. To run that command in our, whatever the command we use in our Linux machine, if we want to run the same command in the Dockerfile, we have to use the run keyword. So with the run keyword, what I am doing, see, now try to understand all the steps which we did in our manual step as well. What I will do, I will install Nginx server in this, with this Dockerfile. So what is my first step? I just pulled my Ubuntu image. After that what I am doing, I am just updating I am just updating that container. See, after the Ubuntu image is pulled, an Ubuntu container will be created. I am running that apt get command to update all the packages, all the repository, because we know that without updating the repository we will not be able to install any of the package. So first I am updating the repository. After that I am just installing the Nginx image from our repository. See, after the already Nginx will be installed in this Ubuntu image. See, I want to do some more modification. What I am doing, I am making a directory as well with the name of Devops. I will create a Devops directory inside the temp folder, and I am creating one file with the name of Amit as well inside that Devops folder. So three modification I am doing over here. The first modification I am installing the Nginx application. The second modification I am creating directory with the name of Devops. Third is I am creating a Amit file inside that Devops. These three things I did. Now comes to the expose part. Already I explained you in this here that what the expose does. See, I am installing my Nginx application, and I know my Nginx always run on 80 port number. So what I will say to the Docker, that please, whenever this Docker file will run, what the Docker file will say, that please Docker reserve this 80 number port for my this container, whatever the new images will be created. So it will reserve this port number. Okay. Now the second part is, already we had seen earlier that this is the command we used to run to start our Nginx services. So this is the command only I run. So already I said what the cmd command does. Cmd command, what it will do, whenever I will run this image, the image which I am going to create, whenever I will run this image and create a container, by default this command will run in that container. So this is what the step I did. So I think now you are aware of the complete step. So I am moving out of this. Now I will run the same command, docker build dot. Now what this command will search? This command will search in the present working directory for any Docker file with the same name of Docker file. It will not find for any other name. So already one file is present with the name of Docker file. So now this Docker file will run this file. So see what happened. When I run this command docker build dot, see what it is. In the first step it's on pulling the Ubuntu image. already it is pulling the Ubuntu image. After that, what it is doing, pull is completed. Docker, our Ubuntu image has been downloaded. See, after that they are running the second step. In the second step, what we have given, see here the step also it is showing 1 by 7. Means in our Docker file 7 steps were there. They have completed the first step. Now they come to the second step. The second step is running the get update command. Now come to the third step. In the third step they are running our command whatever we have mentioned inside the Docker file. Now come to the fourth step. Likewise they will follow all the third, fourth and fifth, every step they will follow. This is my fourth step. Create a directory. Already they have created a directory. Now this is my fifth step. This is my sixth and seventh step. Now finally what message I am getting? Successfully built. Means now if I will go with the Docker images, I will get a Docker images has been built. But see, one thing I am missing over here. What is that? Docker image is created, but as you can see, the name is not assigned. Means in the name you are able to see none. So why it is happening? Why no name is there? So what's the reason behind it? That see what command we ran. We ran this command. But actually what is the syntax of the Docker file? Docker build -t any name. -t any name signifies that same name will be assigned to the Docker images whatever is installed over here. That is the -t signifies. And -f says that please take the Docker file whatever name or whatever path I am given. So this is the two options, but I haven't used any options. So what they did, they have created a Docker file, they have created an image of Docker, but no name has been assigned. So what I will do now, I will use, so I am creating the same image, I am running the same Docker file, but now I am giving the name as well, my Nginx. Now see, you imagine what will happen. I am running the same Docker file which I ran earlier. Now what will happen? Will Docker create a new image or will it modify the same image? So before moving forward, please pause the video and think for this, that what will happen? What will happen now in this scenario? Will new images will be created or Docker will run the same command. So now see what I am doing. Let me go to the directory as my server got hanged, so I restarted it. cd devops g cd docker files. I am inside the directory. So now what I will do, I will run this command docker build -t my any name, you can give any name. I am giving my Nginx and dot means present working directory. So now what will happen? First, please, before looking into the solution, please think in yourself that if I will run Docker images, already one image is there. If I will run the same command, if I am running the same Docker file, will a new image will be created or the same image will be modified? So let me run the command to show you the modification. See what happened. No new images has been created. No new images has been created. What happened? If you will see the image ID of this earlier one and if you will match this one, both are same. Means no new image has been created. What happened? To the same Docker image, they have just modified or tagged the name. See, now here the layer concept comes into the figure, which layer I was saying you earlier. See what the layer concept is. Now as if you will go through this step, if you remember what we did earlier, in the earlier parts, what message we were getting, that running this step 1, running step 2, running step 3, all the steps ran separately. But see now what message we are getting? Using cache, using cache, using cache, using cache, using cache. Means from only in the one step, in the first step where we did the tagging, only that step ran independently. After that, what is happening? that every time it is using cache. Every time it is using cache. Now the thing is where the cache is present. As if you belongs from the computer science or any of the internet background, then you must be knowing what the cache is. Cache is just temporary storage. So where this cache is, and there the layer concept will come into the figure. So let me go into a directory. Please follow this same directory, because this directory will be same for every Docker if you haven't modified any directory. So where lib docker. Already I said that Docker is installed by default inside the where lib docker. Inside this Docker is present by default. Now what is there? When I am running my image is in cache. So I have to go inside the image. I came inside the image, I have to go inside overlay. In overlay I will get image DB option. In this image DB I will get content option. In this content I am getting SHA option. So now give ls. See what is happening. Now what is happening? Let me please compare every steps. But it will be more better. Docker images, Docker history. I mean history command. See what the history command does. History command will show you all the steps, whatever it did during the installation. See, there we followed 7 steps. We can see the ID like 282 A07. We will get every ID. Like you can see 282 A07. All the IDs present in the sequential manner what we had seen over here. Okay. So see the last one is 095. You can obviously see last step is 095. And even if you want to see, they will show the message also that what this layer did. See, I was discussing layer. What actually layer is? This is only the layer. See what I did in my Docker file. I ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had written 7 steps or 7 commands. So they have divided into the 7 steps. See, into the 7 layers they have divided. And every step has been registered with a separate layer. So if you will look into here, apt get update. We have used this command apt get update over here. So this step has been registered with this layer. They have just given this layer that whenever this command will come into the figure, just redirect that command to this layer. This is what the layer is. See, second command we run, install -y nginx. So what they are doing? They are just registering this step with a separate layer. See, again one separate layer came into the figure. Likewise, whatever the command, see at the end we have given expose and cmd command. So the expose and cmd command is also registered with a separate layer. So what I mean to say that inside the Docker file, whatever steps you will mention, they will register with a separate layer. This separate layer comes into the figure. So what is the benefit or advantage of this separate layer? We will discuss in our next, in few minutes we will discuss that one. But what I want to say here that now we got what this layer is and how this layer came. This layer is coming with every single step of the Docker file. And why it came? Because Docker is registering all the steps with a separate layer. What is the advantage of this? We will discuss very soon. So now just look into this. It is 095F and already I came into this path. If you will look, I am inside this path. You can see, you might have seen here how we came inside this path. Now if I will give ls, just compare. This is the layer 095. 095 must be present inside this layer. So see, we are able to see this layer 095 is there. If you will see 082, this layer 282, then this layer is also present. Every layer will be present inside this folder. So what I mean to say that Docker file, what they does, they divides every steps into a separate layer, and that layer will be present individually inside this folder. Now what is the benefit of this layer? That comes into the mind. Okay, I got your point that what the layer is and how this layer is created and how this layer is divided. But what is the advantage? What is the use of that layer? That comes into the mind. So see, what I am showing, what I did earlier, I just ran this Docker file. So after running this Docker file, my one Docker images was created. So that images I name I have given my Nginx. Now suppose I want to do some modification in my Docker file. So what I will do, I will go inside this Docker file. But before that, let me show that successfully we have created this. Means this our file is running fine or not. This Docker file is running fine or not. First, let me show this one. After that, I will come back to the point where what I was explaining now. So first, let me run this image. So Docker. What is the command to run the image? Docker -itd -p. I have to give the p. Why p? Because this my Nginx application is there and port mapping should be done. So port mapping should be done. Sorry, Docker run. We have to use the run command as well because run is only for the container. So what happened? Docker ps already one container came up with the name image my Nginx. Okay. Now what I want to show you that I will go inside this container. To go inside the container, exec command is there. Docker exec -it container id name and any of the command. So I came inside the container. See what modification I did. Do you remember? See what modification I did in my file. I just created one directory named Devops and inside Devops I created one folder name is Amit. So I have to check it over here that has been created or not. So I will go inside my temp directory. I will give ls. See, already when I run this image, I haven't created this Devops but it has been created because inside my Docker file I have mentioned this step. Now I will go inside this Devops as well. Now see, we are able to see this Amit file as well as we have mentioned in our Docker file. Okay, so we are getting whatever we have mentioned. Okay, now Docker ps. Now let me check Nginx application is running fine or not. So I have to go to the 32770 port number. Okay, so let me 13. And what the port number is? The port number is 32770. So what I will get? Nginx application should run over here. See, Nginx application is already running. Means what I mean to say that when I run this Docker file, we did 3 steps and all the 3 steps is done successfully. That is the use of Docker file. Means I run only one image, but whatever steps I wanted inside this image, everything was done. Now suppose I can install multiple applications, what my project requirement will be there, I can install multiple applications in this Docker image. Okay, so that is what the Docker file importance is. So I think now you got what is the importance of Docker file. Now what I wanted to show you earlier that I will do some small modification in this file. Okay, so suppose I am just adding one more file. So what is the command? Run touch inside this directory itself Devops training. So what I am doing inside this directory itself, I am getting one more file with the name of Devops training. So see what will happen in the layer level. We were discussing layer concept. So what the modification will be there. That is why I want to show you this one. See, our already modification is done. If you will see cat See, we have already added this file name. Okay. Now I will run this container. I will run this Docker file, and one new Docker images will be created. So what is the command? Docker build -t new nginx. I am giving some different name, and it should take the file from here. So I am running this file. Now see what happened. Okay. See, it's a very important message. See what the message I am getting. This Amit is not a directory. See, with the touch command, we have created a file over here. See, if you will go into this Docker file, this Amit is file, but what we did by mistake, that inside this file we are going to create one more file. So it is not a directory. So what I will do some small modification. I will remove this Amit from here, and inside the Devops I will create one more file. Now we won't get that error anymore. So again I am running that command. I think my server is a little slow. Docker. See, the same command again I am running. So this time it should create a new image. So see what I wanted to show you. I am creating a new image. My new image has been created. My new image already came up with different image ID. This time I got different image ID. But if you will follow all the steps from 1 to 8 steps, as I have added one more steps, so this time 8 step is there. So see what changes is happening right now. If you will go each step one by one, see in the first step what we are using cache. But from 6th step onwards, where we have created a different folder, where we have modified something, they started running different layers. Let me explain you again in brief here. See what I mean to say. I am inside this file. Okay. Now Docker images. Docker HISTORI. First, let me show the history of nginx. This was my first image which I created. Now let me compare the same history with this new history. See, this is my new nginx, is the newly created file where I have created one new folder. Let me verify a new folder has been created or not. Docker run -itd -p new nginx. So docker exec -it. I can copy any number of unique ID from here. Base. So see, I am inside this Docker. So I will go cd/temp, and inside this Devops is already there. See, our new folder has been created, which proves that our new nginx image has been created successfully. But see, what the thing I want to inform you that I had just modified only one step. Only one step was the difference from this my nginx and new nginx application. What is the step? I have created one more files with the name of Devops training in this new nginx. So see what is happening. First follow the nginx one. This is the history of the nginx application. So they have divided the layer into all the steps into a separate layer. But when I am running the history of the new nginx, see what is happening. The first command is apt-get update. Okay. Here see the first command. What was the first command? apt-get update. What is the layer ID of apt-get update? This is 282A. Now look here also. Here also the same ID is there. What I mean to say that what happened here, that what is the importance of layer, now you will come into figure. See what happened. Whenever you will run any of the Docker file, what the Docker will do? Docker will redirect all its instruction to this folder, sh256 folder, and it will say to the Docker that please check whatever the Docker file steps is mentioned there. Are you having any separate layer for that? If any separate layer is present already, then please don't create any new layer for that Docker file and utilize the same present layer which is already present in our Docker list. So what is happening? We used apt get update command in this scenario. In the new image also, we are using the same command. So what Docker is using, already we have a separate layer for this command. So please utilize the same layer. So what is happening here? This, see, if you will go to the ID of this apt-get, both the IDs are same. Both these IDs are same. Now if I will come to this second step, our second step is install Nginx. See, both these steps are same. In the second step is also same for both this image. So what is happening? If you will go to this image ID of this one, so this image ID is A076. So if you will come here also you will find the same image ID is there. Means Docker file is using the same layer for this step as well. Docker file is not creating a separate layer for this Docker file, Docker image. Okay. Now look into this third step. Third step is creating the folder of Devops inside the temp directory. See, this step is also same. There is no difference in this step. So if you will go to the image ID, you will find same image ID, same layer is there. Same Docker layer is there. You will find. If you will go to the fourth step, our fourth step is also same, and you will find the Docker layer will be same. Docker layer will be same in the fourth step as well. But see, the modification starts from the fifth steps onward. Here I have created one more directory named as Devops training. But this step is not found in my first image. So what it will do, what Docker instruct, whenever any new steps comes to you, please create a separate layer for that image only, and from that steps onward, you are allowed to create your own separate layer for every steps. If the steps will be same also, then also you are authorized to create your own separate image for the Docker file. So see what is happening. As I got this different command, the different steps in the step 5, which is not present in the my Nginx image. So what Docker did, they have given the instruction that, oh, you can go and create your separate layer, and from this layer onward, you are authorized to create your own separate layer for all these steps. So if you will notice over here, see what message we are getting. This 4 layer was created 17 minutes ago, but this 3 layer created a single minute ago. So what the concept of layer is? Now I think you got the clear funda of concept of layer is. Why? What is the advantage of layer? So now you got the layer concept. Now let me show you one more thing for this layer. Docker images. See, what is the size of this Docker images? 200 MB. Okay. So see, 200 MB size is there. Now if I will go to my hard disk size, see, what is the present size? 7.9 GB is available. Okay. So suppose I will run 4 new container for these images. Okay. So what will happen? Docker build see what is happening. No new images will be created. Okay. So the same image is there. But suppose now I will pull multiple images from Docker Hub. So on top of this my Nginx only. So what will happen? It will not reserve your all hard disk space. It will means only see this layer is consuming, means installing the Nginx application consuming 57 MB of space. So as you can see, the same layer has been utilized over here also. If I will create 5 more means image I will create, suppose let me show you practically only, then you will better understand Docker images. See what I will do here, Docker build -t my1. You are getting one more is there. Okay, one more created with my new one. But now if I will go to df-h sorry, df-h. df-h, see, the same available space is there. Previously also, the same space was there, 7.9 GB. Now also 7.9 GB is there. Why? Because this 56 and 25 MB is consuming the main space. That is around 100 MB. Near to 100 MB. But all the images is not utilizing or not creating their separate image. What they are doing, they will just utilize the same layer whatever is present. See, now one more interesting thing is to notice over here. Docker images. See, I haven't did any modification in this to my engineering dockerfile and this dockerfile. I only changed the tag name. So what you can notice over here, this image ID is same. Both the images ID are same. Means what I mean to say that there is no difference between this image and this image. Means all the 8 layers which we used over here is same only. If you want to get the proof, you can get the proof from here as well. Clear Docker images ls Docker history. Let me show this one, and Docker history my one. See, notice all the layers from one layer to the end layer. You are getting the same layer. See, here also 2A is there, 2A is there. Here also at the end 5C is there, also 5C is there. Means what I mean to say that all the layers are same, so then the same image ID has been assigned. Has no difference in the image. Okay, so I think you got the concept of Docker file. Let me run one more I have created. So you got how we can build Docker file, how we can build Docker file, and how we can build the images from the Docker file. You got this point. Now the second thing, let me show you here. Now in this video, what I am doing, I am just running one Tomcat application. I just created a Docker file for running the Tomcat application. So what I am doing, I am just following the steps which we do manual step in as well. I am just writing all the steps here. So what first I am doing, first I am pulling a Ubuntu OS. After that I am updating this OS. After that, inside that OS I am installing this OpenJDK, because we know that on top of Java only we can run the Tomcat application. So after that I am creating a directory with the name of the Tomcat, and after that I am just downloading the Tomcat image from the internet, and I am just keeping it in the temp directory of this with this name. So this is what I did. Now I am extracting for the extraction, for the unzip, for the untar, whatever you say, tar xvf command is there. So that is what I am doing in this step. And after that what I am doing is copying this extracted file into this Tomcat folder which I have created here. So what these all are the installation steps which we do manually as well. And after that what I am doing, I am saying Docker that please reserve 8080 port number for this image and do the port mapping of this port number, because my application, Tomcat application, will utilize this 8080 port number. That is what I am instructing to my Docker. So after that I am running this Catalina sh file. See, to run Tomcat, we have to run Catalina sh script, and that is what I am giving the command over here. So that is what the manual steps I just mentioned here in step. So see, if I will run this command now, if I will run this command now, then you know what will happen? It will again trigger the same Docker file only, because I haven't mentioned the file. Because by default, if you don't mention any file name, you don't specify your file name, then by default Docker signifies that always Docker file will look for the Docker file. Means always Docker file will look for the Docker file name. Okay. So what I have to do here, I have to give -f along with the name of my Docker. So now what it will do, it will search for the Docker file with the name of the docker file tomcat1, which is already present in my current directory. So I have given dot. So now if I will run this one, see, docker build already we forgot. How can we miss this? Build is the main command to instruct the docker that we want to build our docker file. We want to run our docker file and we want to run docker images from that file. See, all the steps are following. As you can see here, 9 steps is there. 9 steps is there inside our docker file. So it will follow all the steps one by one. In the first step, what it did, it downloaded the Ubuntu image. After that, it is running these steps, whatever we mentioned inside that, it is running all the steps one by one. So after the steps will be run, we will see that our docker images will be available, and that we can run the docker images, and inside that docker images, whatever we mentioned in our docker file, everything will present. So we have just powered on our Tomcat application. So when this will run, we can simply see that our Tomcat application will run very fine in our server. Okay, so it is taking some time, so let it complete. So docker tomcat images will be there present with the name of my tomcat in the image section. I will run that image to build a container. So see, it came into the fourth step. Now already all the steps are very so we came into the step 8 and step 9. Now it is over. Now our docker image has been created. Docker images. So see, we are able to see that one docker images is present with the name of my tomcat. Now let me run docker run -it-p, because this uses the port number, so I am using -p. So what it will do, it is just running that my tomcat image, and it will bring a container. So what if I will give docker ps, we are able to see that we are not able to see that. Why it is so exited? Why exited? You know, because in the middle when I was just running this one, in the middle I pressed escape key, so it came out. So let me check. See what it is doing. It is starting up this Catalina. Okay. So again it is coming out. I think there is some issue in our docker file. See, if we will see, already it came up and it exited 56 seconds ago. So we will check. See, there was no error in our docker file. Actually, what command we ran? We ran only docker run -it. As already I said, if we don't give d, then docker will don't consider it as a daemon process or background process. So now if I will run this same image with this d, so if I will see docker ps, so see now at this time my Tomcat application has created one container, the container id. So what I have to verify that it is running in the port number 32774. So let me check or verify that it is running or not. See, if I will run see, it is running. Our Tomcat container is running very fine. So that is what we have checked Tomcat versus Tomcat application as well. So in this video I have shown you how to create the docker file. Already I have installed two applications. One was Nginx and one was Tomcat. I had shown you all the demo. So what I consider from you that please do the practical as well, because without practical you won't understand everything in a clear way. And all the steps what I did now, I had prepared a document as well for all the steps. So I will upload all this document in my Facebook group Devops. So you can download it from there and you can do all the practicals. I had prepared a image very well with all the steps. You can understand it very easily from the document itself. And whatever the docker file or script I have used, I will upload everything in my GitHub account. So you can utilize, you can pull the you can pull this file from my GitHub account as well. See, I have uploaded all these script in my GitHub account. So you can pull all this from my GitHub account, and please do the practical as well, because without practical you will not be able to understand it in a better way. Okay, so I think this is sufficient for this video. We can catch up in our next upcoming video. So for this video, bye bye, take care.